Hey there you guys, welcome back. So I bought myself a water distiller. I opted to buy myself a water distiller because I really don't have, well, so first world of me. I don't have the time to go and buy water every time I want to water my plants. So I wanted to have the water here and ready. It takes a little while for this thing to work, so I still have to wait a little bit of time, but at least I don't have to run to the store. So many of my plants now that I've been collecting have been such that they require a distilled water or rainwater or whatever, something with a low total dissolved solids or a low chemical content, because using tap water tends to give brown edges to the leaves, like these little calatheas here. They get brown leaves when you water them with tap water, or they can, depending on the quality of your tap water. So I opted to buy one of these. This is, what is this one? CON, I don't know. It was highly recommended on Amazon, so I thought I'd give it a try. And so far it's a really easy process. I was really nervous to try to use it because it just kind of scares me a little bit, but there's nothing really to it. This particular model I opted to go with a stainless steel because and a glass carafe off to the side. Because distilled water, from what I understand, you're taking everything out of the water by boiling it down and collecting the steam, that the water is trying to absorb whatever it can, and whatever it comes in contact with, it can kind of take on some of that quality. So you don't want to put it in something aluminum, because aluminum is not that great to drink or whatever. Distilled water in itself is probably not that great to drink anyway. You probably should add some additives to it, but that's not what this is all about. It's more for my plants, so I'm not going to be drinking this, but if you were to run it through a coffee maker or something, you wouldn't have the calcium deposits and all that jazz. So anyway, long story short, I just want to show you what this is all about. The one that I got, like I said, has the glass carafe, and it's a stainless steel rather than some of them are plastic. Again, I will link down below to the one that I purchased. I'll try to find it on Amazon.com as well, but I'll for sure have the Amazon.ca link, because that's where I got it from. So basically it's two things. It is a kettle, so your water is going to be boiling in this reservoir. This is a 4-liter capacity, or a 1-gallon size. I don't know if there's other sizes. I'm sure there is, but this one is a 4-liter, 1-gallon capacity. And as you can see, everything in there is stainless steel. And then we've got this, it's a fan. So basically you've got a kettle, and then you've got a fan to cool down the steam, and then it goes through here. I don't know how it all goes around, but then it comes out the little spout here. The steam, the condensed steam, into the carafe. So this has a little lid on it, and there's a little a secondary lid that when you're using the machine, it kind of directs the water down into the carafe. So it takes about 4 hours for this to do a full cycle, and it's supposed to turn off at the end. I have not let it run until it turns off. I usually have it running when I'm around. I don't want it to overburn itself out. I don't want it to do anything that I'm not aware of it doing. So I'm not going to use this when I'm going to bed. I'm not going to use this when I'm not at the house. Just my own personal preference. But if I'm out doing gardening and I have this stuff it working, it's supposed to shut off after all the water boils down. So basically what you do, it's got a nice silicone gasket around here that does a nice fit on there, and realistically you could lift it up by the handle, but because there's no clips, I don't understand why there's a handle on it. If there was clips holding it in place, I could understand, you could carry it around, but I don't know that I trust it. I don't know that the seal is that good, but it does hold it up, but this is empty. So anyway, we've got a nice power cord. It looks like heavy duty, and then this in the back side will plug in to the unit itself. So you only have one cable that you're plugging into a wall outlet. In the instructions, it recommends only plugging it into, like, only plug this into the outlet and make sure it's the only thing plugged into the outlet. So don't daisy chain anything together and cause more of a draw. It might blow a fuse. I'm not sure. It's a kettle and a fan. I don't understand why it would need so much power. So anyway, we've got an on and off button down here, as you can see by my fingers. Red is off and green is on. And basically, I'll actually plug this in so you can see how loud it is. And it's basically as loud as a fan. Okay, so there's no water in this, so I'm not going to leave it on for long. I'm just going to, just as a demonstration purpose, I'm just going to turn it on now. I'm sure you can hear it, but you could probably also hear me over top of it. So there was a lot of people saying that it was quite loud, but I don't know what loud is, if that is loud. So if you're watching TV or something, you just turn up the volume a little bit louder and you're okay. So that's what that is. I'll just unplug this. So then you'll end up letting it drip in here. Like I said, it takes about 4.5 hours for it to do its thing. It takes about a half hour before the water actually starts to drip out, because it needs to boil the water, and then the enough condensation needs to develop in there that it can start condensing. And yeah, as for cleaning, I've only had this for a short amount of time, so I haven't actually had to clean this yet. Oh, and the filter. There's not really a filter, it's a carbon filter. I'll show you that as well. Let me just move this off to the side. So there's a filter in here, or a carbon filter, that this just removes, and it's a little sachet of activated carbon, and it's basically probably just to give the taste, the clean taste. But that's the only thing that you're using in this. So you can replace that carbon every 1 to 3 months, depending on how often you use this device. So we'll pop that. No, I'll leave that off. After each use, it's recommended to wipe it down with a soft cloth. I usually use a paper towel just to clean up all the drips. But so far it's not so bad. And inside here, you'll notice along the bottom, you're not seeing very much of it there because I don't wait until it's completely empty. But if you wait for it to burn off and then turn off, you'll get some crud going on down at the bottom, and you'll have to clean that out eventually. You don't have to do it every day. You wipe it out every day after each use, after it cools down. But when it's in need of a cleaning, the cleaning solution, I believe this is just citric acid. So you'll end up you'll leave the top off, and you'll end up filling this just a slight amount of water in there just to cover the bottom pretty well. And then you're gonna add 1 to 3 or 1 to 4 teaspoons of this citric acid. I believe it's citric acid. Or you can use vinegar, and turn it on for about a half hour. Just let it bubble away, and then you can remove the solution and then wipe it down with a cloth. And if it didn't work the first time, if you didn't get it fully clean the first time, you could go at it again. But again, don't use anything abrasive. You don't want to use an SOS pad in there. You want to just use a soft cloth. So the citric acid or the vinegar will help break down the calcium deposits that would be at the bottom. And you'll find also, I found it to be quite gross. It depends on your water, but when I wiped it out with a paper towel, the couple of times that I've done this, there's a slight brown hue to the paper towel afterwards. So I'm like, ooh, that's what I've been drinking? That's kind of gross. So, but I still drink my tap water, but it's a little unsettling. Well, it can't be all 100% clean, my goodness. So anyway, I also wanted to do a quick little test. That's basically the unit. If you have any questions, check out the Amazon page that is in the link down below. I can try to help you out with anything. I'm still new to the product, so I might be able to answer something, as long as it's not too technical. I have a TDS meter here, and out of general interest, the other day I thought, oh, I want to try and see what it is. I have my zero filter in the fridge, and it always reads 000 total dissolved solids. My tap water reads, let me turn that on. Okay, so we got the TDS meter working. I had to change the batteries. So my tap water, Today is reading 175 parts per million. The other day when I tested it, it was about 220 parts per million, so my water's not terrible when it comes to tap water. Let's try the filter, or the distilled water. There shouldn't be anything in this, but you never know. This has been sitting on the counter for a couple of days, and it's reading 1 part per million. So this has been sitting here. I had the lid on it, but it could have absorbed something from the air around it. But it's reading 0.00, or not 0.001. It's reading 00. Now it's reading 000. So it's between 000 and 001, 1 part per million. And again, now this one's reading 1.68. So it's not an exact science, but you can get the idea. So yeah, I'm really happy I purchased this. It was a little bit pricey, but when I talk to other people, it doesn't seem like it's that bad. You can make a little setup yourself on your stove with a pot and having something to catch the steam and then have it condense, but I can't be bothered with that. That's too much of a thing. So I'm not really going to do that. But when you're doing it, I've seen on many forums that you're not supposed to use an aluminum bowl. If you're going to use anything, use a stainless steel bowl to catch the steam. So yeah, it's a lot of hassle for me. I want something that's quick and simple, and yeah, and I did check elsewhere in my area for water distillers. It's not something that you find at your regular grocery store or at Walmart. So when I was looking online, these were actually the cheapest ones through Amazon. So go figure. The other ones that I was looking at with a glass carafe were at least $100 more. So which is substantial. So yeah, anyway, I just wanted to share this with you. This might be something of interest if your plants require distilled water, but you have more than one, so buying distilled water is more of an inconvenience. This might help you out. I was thinking about having this down in my grow room and just filling it up from time to time and using it, but actually all of the plants that I have that require distilled water, I usually keep on the main floor anyway. So it's here in the kitchen, and yeah, it's out of sight, out of mind when I don't need it, and it's going to be a product that I use very frequently, I believe. Probably once a week I'll be boiling down water. I don't use the water for everything, but I do use it for the ones that require it. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video, and subscribe, like, and happy growing, everyone.